Good evening. Sometimes, as you know, it's as if there are two or more Americas and at least that many economies. What you're about to hear are some pretty positive economic indicators, and they may not match. In fact, they probably won't match what most folks are experiencing. In fact, part two of our lead story tonight has to do with the anger across the country. Some of it, focused at the two big political parties, is enough to make people march on Boston. First, the good news, which, if true, will be felt eventually. We begin tonight with NBC's Mike Taibbi. He's live on Wall Street in New York. Mike, good evening.
Good evening, Brian. You know, by some of the numbers, the economy looks better today than it has since it all began turning sour 2 summers ago, but only by some of the numbers. Wall Street's close had the Dow above 11,100, more than 70% of the way back from its Great Recession low in March 2009. And President Obama emerged from a meeting with congressional leaders to push for new financial regulations to prevent another near crash.
We cannot have a circumstance in which a meltdown in the financial sector once again puts the entire economy in peril.
Today's news, though, a good enough month in corporate earnings that some bellwether companies announced they are hiring. Intel to hire 1,000 to 2,000 workers, and J.P. Morgan as many as 9,000. And consumer spending jumped 1.6% in March, well above what was expected, led by car sales and spending on clothing and building materials, an unmistakable trend for a key indicator that drives 70% of the economy. Fed Chairman Ben Bernanke.
Consumer spending continued to increase in the first 2 months of this year, and has now risen at an annual rate of about 2.5% in real terms since the middle of 2009.
All of which has a number of experts on the verge of saying a corner has been turned.
I think we're in the middle of a recovery that may actually turn out to be stronger than an awful lot of the initial forecasters would have thought.
But not every economist is sold.
We still have a lot of hurdles. Not only is unemployment still extremely high, but we also are facing many consumers that have been unemployed for a very long time.
And even Wall Streeters visiting the local cobbler.
It's too early to say. In my heart, I want them to improve, but I think it is a little early.
Are nowhere near ready to pronounce the Great Recession history. And tomorrow, and typically, there'll be some numbers that will likely temper most of today's optimism. The housing foreclosure numbers will be announced, and they're not likely to tell a story that's in any way encouraging. Brian?
Mike Taibbi starting us off from Wall Street here in New York tonight. Mike, thanks.